Hey guys, what's going on? WhiteFox1225 here. Today I have my thoughts of ESO when I'm halfway to level cap. So I am level 25. Actually, I'm level 27. I just got past level 25, and I figured instead of waiting to do a whole review, you know, when I hit level 50 probably in a few weeks, I decided that I'd kind of share all my thoughts now, give you what I think, and then the full review will be like a 20-minute thing talking about the end game and the longevity of the game and just my overall thoughts in general, and then I'll give the game a solid score then. But right now I kind of want to do almost like a halfway impression video, just telling you guys what I think of the game right now. So how I decided to break it up is just kind of topic by topic. So let's start with questing. So I really do like the questing in this game. Stumbling along a quest is really enjoyable, and the quests, they aren't like too unique. What I'm saying is, like, in an MMO, it's always like, go get 5 of these, kill 5 of these, go here and do this and come back. So ESO doesn't really break from that pattern, but what it does do is give you a really solid backstory behind every quest, and the characters are so genuinely unique that you just don't care that you're doing kind of the same thing. And the combat is good, so it really is enjoyable. You don't feel like you're doing the same thing over and over. I've never ever skipped through the dialogue, because everything is just really entertaining. And even though the quests aren't as unique as each quest in Skyrim was, the story behind them is really unique, and it makes you really care about the quest. So one thing about questing that is a huge downer is the bugs. Now, bugs, definitely not as prominent as they were in the beta, but they are still there. You will come across quests that you just can't finish because there are bugs. And they have been trying to patch this. A recent patch fixed a lot of the bug quests that I was dealing with. But you will come across them, and just know that it is a problem. It hopefully will be fixed, but we just gotta kind of wait for that. So bugs are a huge problem in the game right now, and they will stop progression in some of the quests. So let's move on and talk about exploring. So now I want to talk about a part of the game that I really love, and that's the exploration. Exploration in this game is just so much better than any other MMO I've ever played. It's so rewarding because you're exploring, you're getting XP for every location you discover, and the world is just riddled with things to find. Dungeons, world bosses, and even new locations, the little eyeballs, just cool locations that when you find you get XP, and then you can usually read books over there and stuff. It's so rewarding, and it's crazy. I would say exploring is even better than it is in a traditional Elder Scrolls game, just because of how rewarding the exploration is, and you're getting XP, and you're getting leveling for it, which really helps. Like, you're not feeling like, oh, everyone else is leveling up so much faster than me because I'm just running around the world. Well, that's not the case. You're running around the world, finding new quests, like I said, getting in new dungeons and finding these awesome world bosses. It's so great, and exploring is just everything I dreamed it would be in this game. Not to mention that there are sky shards in different locations which you can find through exploring, which also helps reward exploring a lot. So let's talk about the dungeons. Dungeons are really great. So they have the delves, which are the smaller dungeons, which are great to do with a small group or even alone. Those are great. They usually have a sky shot in them, or they always do, usually a boss at the end, and sometimes they even have a quest that has to do with them. So those are really awesome. You will get XP for finishing those. And then there are also the huge quests, which you really have to group up for. A group of 4 will take them, usually with multiple bosses, and always have a quest that will have to do with them. But really great. I like how the Undaunted, you have a skill line for all the dungeons, and I'd say the dungeons are a perfect difficulty. Definitely not like a face roll, not too easy, but at the same time not crazy difficult. It can be done, but definitely a great job with the dungeons, really challenging and really good. So let's talk about the combat now. The combat is definitely a mix of Elder Scrolls and MMO. I like how your standard attack is just the mouse button. To block, you hold the right mouse. I really do like it. I never felt like I was just staring at my keyboard, just hitting buttons crazily. I really do. I'm always looking at the screen, which is really great. Skills are really fun. Enemy AI really smart. The combat is just really solid, and I really enjoy it. It definitely can be used cooperatively. The synergies are really great. Overall, the combat is just really good, and it's kind of everything I hoped it would be. Let's talk about crafting now. Very fun and really unique. Crafting is, I have to say, this is the best crafting system I've ever used. I've never gotten to crafting in an MMO that much before, but in this game it's simple to use, but really complex. There are so many possibilities for every kind of armor, weapon. It's really rewarding too, and trading is so booming in this game right now, and crafting is just really great. So if you haven't gotten to crafting, I definitely recommend you do. Let's move on to progression. Leveling up is really satisfying in the game. I love how you get XP through quests, exploration. It's not just, killing monsters. You don't get people just standing around a mob of enemies, even though sometimes they will stand around a boss at the end of a dungeon. But I really do love the way you level up. And because there are sky shards throughout the world, you don't feel a huge rush just to keep leveling up. You get to enjoy it, and you can still get your skills from collecting 3 sky shards, which is really cool. Now let's talk about the skills. The skill lines are really great. I love every single one. I love the class skills, weapon skills. It's cool how you can become a werewolf or a vampire and get those skills out in the world. And the skills themselves are really cool. Some of them are things we've seen in other MMOs, like the volley for the bow. We're obviously going to see that. But some of them are really unique. And that's great. And I've never felt like, oh, this is like every other MMO skill line. It didn't feel like that. There are snares, things like that. Obviously, it's not going to break the path too much. But they're all really cool, and they all look really cool. The animations are great, and I really do enjoy them. And morphing skills is really great. It lets you customize your skills crazy. It really lets you define how you want to play your character. So my ultimate that I'm using right now, I forget the name of it, but I throw down this like huge cloud of shadows, and anyone who goes in it is snared, and my people in it have like increased armor, and it just gives us a lot of buffs. But I got to morph it so that it could either heal me and my allies, or it could do damage to my enemies, and I picked the damage one, and it really does go with my build of a DPS character. So getting to morph skills is really fun, and I really do enjoy it. So now let's talk about the lore and the world. The world is littered with lore. Between the dialogue of the characters, between books you find and you read, there's so much lore filled in this world, and anyone that was afraid that this is just an MMO with the Elder Scrolls name on it, you couldn't be more wrong. Everything is Elder Scrolls. The lore, the way the characters talk, everything is so Elder Scrolls about this game. There's so many books to read that are really interesting and fun. I've spent so much time reading books. There are skill books you can find out in the world, and it really is, the game is really true to test lore, which is really great. The world is also beautiful to be in. The lack of UI is just awesome. Everything is so small. I'm just always looking into the world, and the world isn't the standard MMO, not so detailed world. There's something to find around every corner, and the world is just so great and so beautiful. The zones look so different and they're so unique. It's a pleasure to walk around in, and it's just, the world is so much more Elder Scrolls than an MMO, which is so great. The cities are really cool. I love how huge they are. I like how they're filled with people. One thing I kind of wish was in terms of the architecture, that there was a little more variation. That's just me. It's a really small complaint. And other than that, I really do like the lockpicking. Finding chests around the world is really cool, and I do like that. And that just goes, kind of with the whole. There's stuff to find around every corner. You're always going to be rewarded. Even if it's like a small book that you find, there's always something to find, which is really cool. Now let's talk about PvP. PvP is so great. I still love it. I loved it in the beta. I love it now. It's really rewarding. I love how the system works, that you can have these huge, large-scale battles, but also go off with your small guild and then have these small little fights with people, for like farms and stuff like that. The system that they created for PvP works really well. One thing I love about the game is that a small group that has a lot of skill can take down a big group. So me and my guild were fighting off like 10 daggers, and we were just 3 people, and we had one of my friends, John Paul Boyle, he was healing, and then another one of my guildmates, Oath by Sticks, he was a mage, and I was using the bow, and we took down these 10 players. We got them on the run just by using a lot of good healing tactics and things like that. So a group with a lot of skill can do a lot of damage and can fight off huge groups, which is kind of like the Shoddy Cast and the Chalamo. It's a really great system, and it works really well, and players who have the skill can take down big groups, which is really awesome. I really do love playing PvP with my guild. It works really great. One awesome thing is that we took Chalmon Keep, and we actually claimed it for ourselves, which was so awesome. But really, I just love how in PvP you can have large-scale combat and small, combat. Sieges are awesome. The siege weapons are really cool. Having huge sieges just is really awesome. And other than that, in PvP there are also quests to do, which is really fun. I love questing in PvP. The quests aren't as detailed, but they are detailed, and the character is still good, and it's a great way to level up. There are also dungeons to do, which are really great, just like regular delves in the world. So there's a lot of stuff to do in PvP, and it offers a lot to different group of people, which is really awesome. Now I want to go into the social aspect of the game. People really do work together in this game. If you see someone struggling with a monster, lots of people will help them out. You know, the Dark Anchors, when they come down, there's always people there, and you can always find a group by using the group search option. That works so great. You get like a group instantaneously, which is really cool. Finding a group to do a dungeon is always quick and easy, and really in general, there are always people willing to help out other people. People in the game seem to be really nice to each other. The community is really great. The only one problem I had is I got scammed out of 9,500 gold. Just because I was trying to become a vampire and someone scammed me, but that really was the first time I found any problems with any players. But the great thing is, I told one of my guildmates about that, Oath by Styx, and he just gave me that money back, which was super nice of him. And really what it comes down to is, yeah, there are some bad people in the game, but there are so much more good people. And another reason why you should join a guild is just because you always have people there for you. So the community is really great. I love the social features. If you haven't joined a guild, I definitely recommend doing it. And just quickly, if you want to join mine, link in the description. So let's talk about some role-playing. So one complaint, and this might be my biggest, is that there's no role-playing filtering in the game. You know, originally there was going to be a survey, and if you want to do just role-playing, you could say that, and you could be with just role-players. Unfortunately, it's not how it worked out. They didn't do that. So role-playing in the game is almost impossible unless you're part of a role-playing guild, which you can find, and those are pretty easy to find. The good thing is the way chat works is you can just talk to your guild, so you can do role-playing pretty easy in the chat, which was a huge concern of me. But it is kind of hard to find role-players if you're not part of the guild, which is kind of bad. Another thing is that the emotes are really great, tons of emotes, really great animations, so that is something that's really good. So role-playing is kind of a mixed bag. You can do it, but you really need to know where to look. I kind of wish it was easier, and I know they said they're going to work on a system where role-players can get together. I hope they do that pretty soon. Now let's talk about the economy. So there are lots of people in chat selling stuff, which is good. There is no in-game auction house, but there's now one on the Tesso Elite forums, and there are also a bunch of trading guilds which you can join. So I think the trading system really works well for the game. I love how you can just walk up to a person and start a trade. So yeah, economy is really good, and the only problem I've found so far is the gold spammers, but I'm sure they'll fix that pretty soon. Now quickly, I just want to talk about the things I kind of have a problem with. I know this was really positive, and it is because I really love the game, but the biggest problem I have right now with the game is I just feel like it's missing some key features. It doesn't have a crime system, which I thought was a really essential part of an Elder Scrolls game. It doesn't have the Thieves Guild or the Dark Brotherhood. So those will be added later on, don't get me wrong. I would have liked to see them at launch. I think the world really needs player housing, just because having a house in the world would be just so fantastic. I also think they need to fix the bugs. The bugs really need to be fixed, and that is kind of a huge problem. It's becoming less and less of a problem, but it is still there, so hopefully they fix that. And other than that, that pretty much does it for my review. So overall, guys, I love this game. It might be my favorite game of all time, which is really saying something. The only thing that could challenge it would be Skyrim. They might be equal, but I'm going to give this game a very high score, assuming that nothing changes within the next 25 levels. But I am really loving this game, and I'll have my full review up by next month. And in terms of future videos for this week, we'll be comparing large-scale PvP and small-scale PvP. And then, I might have a review of the physical items that came with the Imperial Edition, and maybe some more guides coming this week. No Elder Scrolls Online Saturday this weekend, but we will have one up next weekend. So stay tuned for that. If you guys liked the video and you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe. If you liked it, it would be awesome if you give it a like. And keep in mind that I am doing an Elder Scrolls Online time card giveaway. Link in the description to that video. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.